Good afternoon, everyone. This is Naishad Gadani coming to you from Melbourne, and today is 189th episode of Career Care Package. And on today's episode, we are talking about how to find a job in Australia during Christmas or during festive season. And as you can see, me and Karalyn have already got festive cheers. We are already in the mood of festivities. And some of you have been already that this is our last week of daily LinkedIn Live. The the journey started on 23rd of March this year, and which will end on the 18th of December, where we have got more than 30 people coming onto our show, not together in the we've kind of divided them into group of eight. So it will be a multi-starrer movie, as you can, like in Avengers, right? Where you've got different Avengers will be coming and sharing what have how the 2020 has been for them, what they've learned, and what are they looking for in 2021. So if you want to join in, please join in, because it's going to be a marathon, probably 2 to 2.5 hours, depending upon whether my computer battery dies, the internet gives up, or so I think join in, be part of it. But on today's show, we are talking about how to find a job during this Christmas time. So before we start to jump into that, let's welcome Karalyn Brown.
I'm just going to shake my head, Naish, to see if everybody can hear the bling. I've got the office cat in the background, Teddy, and every time I shake my head, he gets a little bit alarmed. So, yeah, look, it's celebrating Christmas in true Aussie style in inappropriate headgear in terms of all geared up for the snow. And what is it outside? About 35 degrees. So, yeah, no, it's fantastic to be here. And I'm glad that I think we've delivered a lot of value this year to people. So taking a well-earned break, and so should everybody, is actually one of my first tip around finding a job during the holidays. So if you've got questions around that, or just your job search in general, please jump in. Naish, shall we jump into the tips?
Yeah, probably that's a good time. And so my tip would be, it's the same thing.
No, you go ahead. No, that's fine.
I've seen your notes, so I know what you're talking about. And as a very diligent
anyone knows.
As a very diligent engineering student, I always like to sneak in what people have done rather than coming up with something original. But I guess that something that we talked about last week as well in our Friday question answer session is around connections and get to know people, because Christmas is a time where you will be forced sometimes to go into parties or to meet other people. Take a time to get to know people, because I think this is also a time where there's no pressure for you to get to know the person in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can actually have a more extended, detailed discussion with people. It's something that I also am looking forward to during this time. I have got, obviously, due to pandemic times, we have put on many lunches and dinners on hold. And I'm really looking forward to meeting people, to get to know them after a long time, and also meet new people. I think Career Care Package has really expanded our virtual network, and we want to really convert the virtual network into a face-to-face network as well. I think that would be fantastic to meet people, get to know them. So my number one tip would be have conversations with people. It might be 5-10 minutes conversation, but have them, ask them what do they do. Reach out to them, or if somebody reaches out to you, invites you for a Christmas barbecue, Christmas tea, Boxing Day taste lunch, whatever. Go there. Engage with people as well. So that would be my number one tip, KB.
Yes, that was actually my number 4. No. Actually, it wasn't one of my tips, but along the lines of one of my tips was because, instead of debating Australia's immigration policy with Uncle Bruce and having a big dust up over Christmas turkey, you might want to ask Uncle Bruce what he does for a living, and you never know what comes out of a conversation like that. So I'm just using that as a bad analogy, basically, because I'm thinking of I don't have an Uncle Bruce, but I had an Auntie Anne at Christmas who I used to argue with quite a lot. But instead of sort of doing the usual topics, sometimes I think with family and friends, we forget that they are in the workforce and they know people and so forth. So, a little bit of curiosity about what people do and what they enjoy about what they do and what you're looking to do is a great way to maybe not have an argument at Christmas time and actually enjoy people's companies, because you never know what comes out of these relationships. So excellent tip, Nish. My number one tip is actually to have a break, because when you rush, your brain doesn't work. You're not giving yourself a time to rest and recharge. But what often happens is that when you're having going out for a walk or playing cricket or going for a run or going for a swim or just not doing anything, you're relaxing your brain. The stress hormones, decrease. You're not on, running on empty, and you get a chance to think and reflect about a few things. So you might want to just clear the head and take some decent time off and think about what it is that you might want to be doing next year, or how you could approach things differently, or what you really want to do. And it's just a great time. I don't think we allow ourselves enough time to do nothing. And, as I'm beginning to see how important it is to do nothing for a little while, because we're always on the go. So that's my number one tip.
It reminds me of the talk that I think I've mentioned previously as well, of if you guys want to listen, go and listen to Pico Iyer's talk called I think it's around migration and taking a pause and not doing anything. And he recites one of his examples that he was he lost his home in the Californian bushfire, and one of his friend asked him to. He's not religious, but one of his friends said, "Look, there's a church where he takes the teenagers, for a few days, and they just cool down. There's magnetic about it." So he decided to go to the church, and when he enters the church where he's going to be living, in the cottage, there's nothing else but just a bed, table, lights, but there's a long table, with pens and everything else for him to just do nothing or do whatever that he wants to do. And he says that when he started to sit down for just writing, and it took 4 or 5 hours, and before he noticed it was night. And then he says that he did, for the rest of the week or anything, he didn't do anything. And so he was doing the best thing for his life, because he didn't do anything. And not doing nothing is also part of doing something, but you're not doing anything. Literally, you're not doing anything. And I think that's very profound one. I have had that experience, KB. I've not shared with many people, but I was doing assisting or volunteering with Landmark Education just in Melbourne. It was one of those experiences that I've never forgotten, but I never got around it. Even if I want to feel that again, it's not possible. So it's around 1 o'clock when everybody went out for lunch. I went out for lunch and came back in the room. In the room when I came back, there was nobody in the room, right? It was light. I think the lights were very dim, and I just sat there. And I don't even know what happened for 20, 30 minutes. I was just absolute somewhere else. I just felt that I was not doing anything, but that moment where I was not in the past, not in the present, it was magical, those 20, 30 minutes that I had. I don't even know how I got there, but I was just sitting there, still not doing anything. And that was one of the most magical feeling that I had physically, to be transported into something that I can't even explain what happened. But coming back to what KB said, I think rest is incredibly important. Doing nothing is also, I think, a lot of CEOs right now, they do meditation, which they say that you are doing nothing, you're not thinking, or you're watching your thoughts coming along, and you're processing it, and you're letting it go by. So yes, KB, that's a fantastic one to begin
All
with.
right. Now I've written down my tips, so I'm just going to say tip number 2 is polish up your LinkedIn profile, because you might be doing nothing, but there are people, recruiters and employers still looking for people. So make sure that your profile reflects the best version of you. If you haven't updated the last job, update the last job. Make sure that you've got it properly optimized with keywords in your headline. Update your photo, put a lovely banner up, that polish it up so you look the best version of you. And also, there are automation tools that you can actually use, like Hootsuite, to update and automate updates going out to your network. So you can actually automate your status updates, and go and sit on the beach. So it means that your profile is working harder than you are during that period, and might actually help you find your next job.
Absolutely. Just to acknowledge Chitra, Lele is saying good greetings, ma'am and sir. I think just if you can just call us Naishat and Karalyn, that would be awesome as
Queen
well.
and
So come and
King.
welcome. Say that again.
I said Queen and King.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that actually. That's a good one. Yes, yes. LinkedIn profile. I think what Caroline said is absolutely perfect. Is making sure going over that as well, because it is the most important tool that you have in your armory, as well as go over your resume as well. Not too much. Don't spend too much time behind it, because otherwise you will just feel like not going on a break at all. If I can also add around that, see, reading a book is something that comes to close to me. If you want suggestions around career books or something like that, please let me know. I'll give you some suggestions. I don't want to give you a suggestion which is 300, 400 page book which you will finish in 2021 end. I'll rather give you a book which is kind of reflective enough for you, that allows you to think a little bit more deeper about your career, but also gives you some actionable items as well. So please reach out. I think book would something that I highly recommend. It's something that I have also slowly started to get into. Mind you, I'm not a prolific reader, as well, but it's something that I've started to enjoy. Even though 10-15 minutes every 2-3 days, I still that's why I've got that Kindle, so that I can go back exactly where I am and start to read through that. I think it's a fantastic one to continue to improve my understanding of the work that I do. So yeah, that would be one other one.
All right. Tip number 3, let me go back to them, is send out some Christmas greetings to people that you have not been in touch with before, or for a long time. Speaking of that, hi Varun, nice to see you on the show. Yes, it's a great time of year to reconnect and just say wish it for no other reason than saying wishing you all the best for 2021. Happy to put a close on this year, and I think one thing about networking is basically just for the act of very much keeping in touch. You stay on people's radars, they stay on your radar. And if you're reaching out, it's just a good excuse to reach out and reconnect with people. So also in the new year, good chance to reconnect, saying just, hoping to reconnect in the new year. Lovely to catch up and see what you're up to. No, nothing else needed in that conversation.
Yeah, that's a really great tip. Even you can now record your video as well in LinkedIn as well. So specific people. It takes 10-15 seconds, honestly. I think it's a great way to just touch base with people and say, have a great Merry Christmas, great holidays, and see you in 2021. I think howsoever it is still, if you send even a standard message, it is still recognized as that you know how the year was, and you are acknowledging it, and you are wishing them well. I think it is still a great gesture. When the pandemic really hit, one of the things that I told my clients at the time is that don't worry, everyone, most of us are feeling some or the other impact of pandemic. And if you in this time, if you just send a really thoughtful message to the recruiters or the HR managers, decision makers that you're working with, saying that that you feel for them, and the impact of that, and if there's anything that you could do to help them, say yes to them. I think it's just those thoughtful messages are important at that time, because people do take notice. Even though if you they may have read it and they may not have responded to it, that doesn't mean that people don't take notice of these things. And maybe I can probably share my example of doing this career care package. There are many people who do not participate in career care package. They don't comment on it. But I have received so many LinkedIn messages, and I've shared some of them with you, that people say, what you're doing is amazing. I really enjoy what you're doing. And the content, and the answers, and the information that you provide. And I think that to correlate that to the earlier comment that I made is that people notice those things. They may not act on it. And don't worry if you don't receive a response back from that person. I think you've got to do what you got to do, is
Mm.
to say, have great time, enjoy. And I think it's a great gesture.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, tip number 4 is, all right, you're on LinkedIn. Set yourself a little challenge when your brain is refreshed and you've eaten all the turkey and you've bowled your dad out at cricket, or your mum out, or your auntie or uncle. Experiment with another form of social media. So, if you're not on Facebook, jump on Facebook. If you're not on Twitter, jump on Twitter. If you're not on Instagram, have a look at Instagram. Even TikTok. I haven't really looked at TikTok, but all of these, there's a big blur between social and professional networks now. Lots of people that run businesses have got Instagram accounts, and use Instagram stories and videos and things like that. It's a great way to connect with people. So have a look at a different social media platform and just play around with it. Twitter, I know, I've been on Twitter for many, many years, and I know Nash uses it to find guests, but it's also a great place to just have a little bit of fun and join in on conversations and things like that. So experiment with another form of social media. I use Instagram for photos, but I also follow a few people professionally on Instagram as well to see what they're up to. So quite often I'll direct message people on Instagram or direct message people on Twitter. So it's a different way of engaging in a different conversation with people, and you can have a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, because it's not. I think people find different kind of roles, and different ways that people find jobs on social media. LinkedIn is part of the whole mix. It's an important part of the mix, but I think there might be some media that you could use, especially if you're into creative professions, sales, marketing, design, arts, and everything. I think you got to experiment with other media as well. And I really enjoy Twitter a lot. I think that's my daily dose of news and what's happening across the world. And it also very insightful sometimes, Twitter, especially those threads that people write on Twitter. Some of them takes probably hours for somebody to really bring all the insights and data in and write that. It's just a fantastic way. And I think in Australia, KB, I've not seen job seekers really engaging
Right.
with Twitter as much. In US, it is pretty, it's a mainstream one, but not on Australia. I've not seen many job seekers, use that appropriately. And I think we've done a show with
Jacob
what's the
Share.
name?
Great
Jacob
show.
Share. It's
Yep.
great show on Twitter, how to use Twitter for job search. If someone's interested, please let me know, and I can send you the link for you to have a look at, because that's a fantastic one to expand your appetite of just not about job search, but also build some really interesting connections. Um, Yeah, because when not many people are using it, if you start to use that effectively, specifically engaging with industry leaders in your space, I think that will go a long way.
There's a few things about it too, because in Australia, I think, most people have a LinkedIn profile, but people that are really interested in expanding their networks have a couple of social media profiles, and Twitter is probably one of them. So you won't find hundreds of, captains of industry on Twitter, but you will find some. And, it's actually a friendlier, like less formal way to connect up or follow what people are up to. And then the other thing is that people that I call connectors or hubs generally are on Twitter. So they are people that are interested in being a center of a network or sharing best practice, building up their network. They're great people that can introduce you to other people. So you will find lots of interesting people. With Twitter as well, used to be a little bit random in terms of people that you might follow, but there are great tools out there that actually let you search Twitter bios and Twitter profiles for people that are, in your area with, say, I don't know, business analyst in Perth or whatever, that you can actually search the bios to see people that you might actually follow. And even if people aren't regularly tweeting, if they've tweeted at one stage and you note what they've said, it's a great way to reconnect on LinkedIn by saying, I saw something that you tweeted out, quite a few months ago, found it really interesting. And if you do that, it shows that you've actually taken the time to read something somebody put out rather than, and because it was so long ago, it's like you actually have taken notice and it has been meaningful to you. So don't forget that as a job searching tool. And the other thing is that you can automate your tweets as well. So if you want to tweet out different updates, you can put that on autopilot over the Christmas holidays as well.
Absolutely. I think Twitter specifically using the hashtag also, it's very simple. If you put hashtag Melbourne jobs to RPA jobs, I'm pretty sure there'll be some people, someone out there who's tweeting about it, as well. So I think using hashtags appropriately, the way you use it on LinkedIn or even on Facebook as well, I think that would be pretty good. And also, Twitter is probably more like a cocktail of your personal, not so much personal, but your community life, to your social political interest, to your work. I use it for all those reasons. I don't tweet out my pictures on that. I just use it to consume information that I really enjoy, to also validate some of my thinking, but also to kind of get a sense of the world around me as well. And I think that is incredibly important as well. So what's happening around Victoria, what's happening around Melbourne, what's happening in Australia, I think that's important because that knowledge then allows you to interact with people and allows you to have slightly different conversation than how's your beer, right? Because now you're well versed with some other things happening on there. And you can strike conversations with people as well. So I think that in that way, it's a fantastic one, and I've used to get great experts on this show as well.
All right. Do you want tip number 5? It's the best tip of all. It's the one that we've all been waiting for, and if we had a drum roll. We have got a huge YouTube channel and a podcast full of amazing videos and career experts and people who have found jobs. Now's the time to binge watch Career Care Package or Your Career Down Under, binge listen, for some great interviews on all sorts of topics, everything from career change, mindset, transformation, confidence, people who've made career changes, public speaking, finding a job on Twitter, using LinkedIn, networking, how to overcome adversity, how to be resilient, how to make the most of a break. Just about everything you can poke a stick at is on our channel. So if you've not followed If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. If you've not followed the hashtag Career Care Package, please do. But there's a months of binge watching pleasure or binge consuming pleasure to be had on our channel.
I agree. I think that's probably one of the most important tip of this is that we've got huge amount of information, like 189th episode, 188 episode. That is close to 150 hours of different kind of content, and I think what we pride ourselves in is that we have kind of brought guests who are really experts in their field, and they bring a unique insights and real understanding of the problems faced by people and the diversity of the subjects that we have covered, which all ultimately aligns to your career and jobs and career change and everything else, which is absolutely fantastic. So I really kind of like
That's
that
tangible.
idea of that. Yeah, I think so, isn't it? Yeah. So it is absolutely fascinating. So I would strongly urge you to go and subscribe. And if you're struggling with it, you don't know where to subscribe, where to find podcast or anything else, please let me know and I can go over those things with you.
You're a popular man, Nesh. Yes, well, I think so.
And lastly, I wanted to let one. I think I recently spoke to someone, and he said that Nishad, I asked a couple of my friends to go and watch your YouTube videos with Karalyn, and they said they used some of the things and they've landed up jobs even before coming to you. So in a way, I felt, oh God, I lost some client, but in a way, it felt really good that people are referring it to other people and they are coming and watching them. Obviously, our videos are not short and snappy videos, three tips for you to completely change your resume. I think they are long videos, but they are very informative. They are thoughtfully curated content, as well. So, if you're out there to watch that, if I watch some video for 5 minutes and get that, you will not find it in our videos at all. Because they are long one, because we put a lot of time and effort into creating videos and also thinking about those things as well. Okay.
Yeah, there's a huge range of topics on those videos and absolutely worthwhile. Picking something and just having a listen, and they're discussions. They're not quick tips. I am doing some highlight video tips, but I like nothing better than going for a walk and listening to a podcast or listening to a YouTube video. The videos are recordings of these shows, so there's not much to see apart from our marvelous faces. But so it's just as easy to listen to them as well. So. And we've had some experts from all over the world. So from France to the US to Canada to India, Melbourne, Sydney, everywhere. So
and UK.
And the UK, of course, yes. And Israel.
Israel, yes, that's right.
Yes, so that's the end of my tips. Binge watch on Career Care Package was my number 5. So do you have a number 5, Nish?
No, I don't. I think I will go with your number 5. Tip. So that's pretty much it. These are the 5 tips that we have for you to continue in your job search journey. And if you think that there is anything else that we could do, also we are really looking for ideas for 2021. If you know that this is what we can do, we can invite Barack Obama, we can invite Malcolm Turnbull, we can invite Oprah Winfrey. Anyone, please let us know, and also please send their mobile number as well, because we can directly talk to them. But jokes apart, if you want us to do next year's show or topics, something that is of interest to you, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to cover that. We are still in the ideation of what the new show in 2021 will look like. The days, the times, and everything else, which is still under ideation. So feel free to reach out to us, because we value your suggestions and recommendations. That's it for me, Katie.
Yep. that's it from me today as well. So who have we got coming up for tomorrow?
So tomorrow we are speaking to a leadership expert, Zoe Roth, and she is in Canberra. She's been in leadership game for over 30 years. It's a long time to be in leadership game and still doing it. She's not tired of. She's still seeing a lot of opportunities to make a positive impact. And she's recently penned a book called People Stuff. And she's going to come to talk to us about the book, what compelled her to write the book, what's the premises of the book, and ultimately it's about advanced leadership handbook, as well, that we'll be talking to her. So if you're a leader, if you want to be a leader in this uncertain, dynamic, chaotic time, so please join us tomorrow 3 p.m. everyone. Until that, well, look after yourself and your loved ones, and bye for now.
Bye for now.